Okay, so now we're going to establish our ARI, the average relative intensity. And we're just going to make this really easy. We're going to assume that we're just doing a super basic template A, BTS3, and I'm going to use a nice round number for my monthly volumes. And this is one place where you will have to do an input. I'll just put 300 in there. And if you turn to page 191 in the manual, it goes over establishing the monthly ARI and distributing across the intensity zones. For the purposes of our built strong, we want to vary between 65% 1 rep max and 73% 1 rep max. So kind of to the left of the intensity zones. I'm going to make this really simple for the purposes of building this formula though. So the first thing I'm going to do is just establish some numbers here. I'm going to put 0% for very light. I'm going to put 0.40 for, excuse me, I put 0.50 for light, 0.40 or 40% for medium, and we will do 0.1 or 10% for heavy. And right here, all we've done is just made a sum formula across, and that verifies that I have 100%. Okay, so then we need to create a formula to show how many lifts per intensity zone this is going to give us. So I'm going to make this very easy. Even though I have 0, I'm still going to go ahead and create the formula because at some point I might want it. So we're going to take equals. We're going to click on the number in our very light. Then we're going to multiply it times our monthly number of lifts, which is cell G9. But to make this easy to copy, I'm going to lock that cell in by using the dollar signs in front of the G and the 9. Oops. Okay. It's going to give me a 0, but now I can copy that. Command C, or you can use your menu or your mouse. Paste that all the way across. Command B. And that's copied that formula, multiplying the intensity zone percentage by the monthly number of lifts. It multiplies the correct column, but it locks in this monthly number. You know spreadsheets, that's easy, but if you don't know spreadsheet, that's a cool trick. Okay, so I made an extra row here, and that's the highlighted row to kind of remind me that I need to do some rounding. When you plug numbers in, sometimes you're going to get like a 0.5 or a 0.75, and we want to have nice round numbers. So this is where I will manually input whatever I have calculated so that when I make my formulas, I've got a good round number, and it adds up to the 300. So the number in, and I use colors here so my eyeballs can find them easier. These two numbers match, I know I'm good. Okay, I could go ahead and just put a 0 in for very heavy if I wanted, but it's fine. So now to calculate the ARI to see if our percentages are going to be okay. There's a lot of ways to do this. If you have a better way, by all means, do it. This is how it makes sense to me. This is how Fabio showed it. So what I'm going to do is, and it's just a little tedious. And actually, I'm going to show you first what it looks like. So here's my actual worksheet. And if you look up here in the function bar or in the formula bar, you can see that I'm adding B7 is my percentage that I've already plugged in. That's my weight, you know, the intensity for that zone multiplied by the number of lifts that I have down here. So it's the intensity multiplied by the number of lifts for that intensity zone. So my blank template, I'm just going to start at the beginning. I'm going to say equals going to multiply it times. And we're going to put in a parenthesis. And we add 65%. Oops, we're going to need a parenthesis there. Multiply that times. Okay. And we're going to add 25%. Multiply that times this. We're going to add by that time. Okay. And we can just go ahead and do it for this. Then we're going to divide it by our total number of lifts. Let's go ahead and just put those dollar signs though, G9. So we lock that in case we do some moving around. All right. And let's see where that gets us. Oh, there's a mistake there because there's no way we could have an average relative intensity. But I wonder if, all right, so let's look at what we did. E7. Oh, I know what I did. So you need to put an extra set of parentheses in here when you create a formula, otherwise, there you go. So I had to put in an extra set of parentheses in order so that this entire string of numbers was added together before we divided by the numbers. All right, so that is the ARI. That's how we calculate that. It's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit tedious. If you find a better way to get that works for your spreadsheet, by all means. Homer,